Okay, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And my brain feels so full. There's like so many things. I don't even know if I can touch them all. So let's see. For one thing, hold on a sec. I'm gonna drink this water. Hold on. So I was about to open my mouth and show my tooth, and felt my lip was stuck on my other tooth. So okay, because I just looked, I was just noticing my hair too. Like I said, you guys can't tell. It's so trippy, the difference in the color in the mirror, but in how it is just so much fading, like fading back into this color, or it's like, I don't know, it's way cooler looking than this business. So the tooth though, I can show you and you can see better. So hold on. And my sinuses are really stopped up. I'm fucking rain here, and rain and rain and rain and rain. Started, I think, yesterday night, and now it is it's been raining all this time. And oh god, yesterday we had such a windstorm. I don't even think it's considered a windstorm, but it was insane. Oh my god, it was just like I was a wreck. And then my neighbor texted me and she's like, I'm a wreck over the whatever she said. Same thing. She said she was a nervous wreck or something over the wind. I was like, God, no shit. I'm freaking the fuck out, man. And now something just, hold on. I'm talking and something just comes out my tooth. And I remembered, oh yeah, you ate a cookie. Wait, a half a cookie. Yesterday I ate a cookie. Hold on. Because they got coconut in them. And they go and sit somewhere and then it pops out or something. So, because I used that coconut mixture I had in the fridge, I added it in with some nut butter, just like butter and nuts. And I had a few chocolate chips, and so I added those in. Oh yeah, God, there's so many things. So I added those into just like it was like not a chocolate chip cookie kind of with a lot of nuts in it. And then I added in that coconut, and then it had a different nut because it had almonds. So it had pecans, walnuts, and almonds on this cookie, and coconut and chocolate chips. It's really good. Anyways, so yesterday I ate one when I was drinking my tea. I was like, I'm gonna see if this makes my stomach not growl through the whole thing. I don't think my stomach growled. So then Stella was in there wanting more treats after she already ate her treats. And so I thought, oh, I'll have a cookie again and see how it does on my stomach. And so I gave her half of it. And what am I even talking about? I swear to God, just be prepared because I'm going to be rambling. My mind is it is all over the place. There are so many things and the energy is so intense. And yesterday, I swear to God, I thought here at my house we were just disappearing or something, and we were glitching out. The sounds outside, like somebody just driving by, feels like that they are rumbling through on his giant fucking tractor. There was so much overhead traffic and noise above. It was so fucking intense. And then it's just pouring rain. Again, it's supposed to rain for like the next fucking week. And my yard is already flooded, already fucking mud mess. The last mud mess hadn't even cleared up yet. When the guy came to deliver the thing, he made a big hole in the mud. So I was trying to cover that up. And I put a box, I put more stuff and everything. It's a fucking mess. It's gotten way huger. It's just, oh my gosh. So, that, something just flew by. Let me think what it is. Now it's just flying around. I don't know what it is. Like, where's the flying bugs? Why are they not dead? It's cold as fuck. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on in this world? Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh, yeah, the noise. Oh, my God. Yesterday it was so intense. And Stella kept crying and crying. And Archie was acting really weird. They were all acting so weird. And I kept feeling like we were disappearing or something. I kept feeling like you got to hold on to this reality. I was trying to talk to Stella and tell her, I know something weird is going on. I can't even tell you. I mean, it was so fucking weird yesterday. And I feel like it's just going right back into it. Like the time, like I said, it was just all over the place. After it started speeding up, it was just full speed ahead. And everything I would do, it would be like, oh my God, how did, it seems like it just takes a minute and then it's like fucking hours. And so, yesterday was just going so fast, and the noise outside was totally eerie. The wind was so fucking insane, and it was so intense. And I am sure I wasn't just feeling my own intensity, because then she even messaged me. I'm sure our energy was bouncing back and forth from each other, because the whole time too I keep thinking, I wonder how she's feeling, because it is different when you're more alone, you know. And when you are a mom and alone, sometimes you feel real alone. Like this is all riding on me, not just taking care of myself, but I got these other ones too. And it can be a lot of pressure. It's very stressful in some cases. And even, having the dogs and stuff. But, I don't know. I don't know. My guides are always just like everything. It's just like, just relax, it's fine and stuff, but it's intense. It's hard to do it. And I don't know, they just show me like the dogs are going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And even if we were to leave this reality, that is like, we'll leave it as a family group. We'll go as a team or something. Like, I don't know. That's what I kept feeling like. Like, if we're going to go out of one story, we're going to go into another story altogether. So, I don't know. Uh, maybe that's the rapture. Maybe we start just picking our own stories, because I'm still hearing people, like some spiritual person. And some of them, they just say things that are just not in alignment with how I see things. But she was saying that, oh, 'cause she was talking about the solar flash. That's what caught my attention. Because she said when the solar flash happens, it's going to go like this. And I don't remember the whole thing. It was pretty long. But she was saying that there's crystals in the ground, crystals like from the ancient people in the ground, and the energy is connecting with the crystals. And I don't even remember, because a lot of these people that go off on weird kind of religious stuff, I don't know, angels and just stuff, how I look at life. So but she was saying that, so the solar flash won't look like a solar flash. It's plasma or something, which I already knew that. It's not hot like what we think. And it's a portal. There's all sorts of beings living in it. And that, but what she said, something about when the solar flash happens, there's going to be this first group of people, like the chosen. She kept saying the 144. Well, I don't think 144 is 144,000 people. I think it is, it's a frequency. So it'd be the people on that frequency, the people who looked at life in this certain way of respect and love, it has value. Just it's a value system, I would say more. And so that is, so it's not just that. But anyways, because there's so many people, it's 144,000, these chosen ones and all that stuff. And so so she's saying when the solar flash happens, this first 144,000 people are leaving. They're going to Age of Aquarius or whatever. So, and then there'll be another one and stuff. And then other things I've heard about the group thing, and I've talked about the group thing, but I look at it more as like, in this reality that we're living in, when the things start flipping and the frequency starts becoming more in alignment, because there's so much interference with these other people, but we're flipped. And so, but when we flip right side up, then the frequency will be more in alignment. And the people that are in alignment, so If we're in alignment with this frequency now, it's uncomfortable. You have to push through the being uncomfortable. The discomfort is the growth. And so in doing it in the upside down is like a challenge, but it gives you a step up when it flips, when the energy flips, because there's a lot of souls that's what's going to be the motivation to them. And so there's different perspectives being lived out through that. And this is what I keep saying. This is what the universe is all about, is living out all these different perspectives. And so it isn't just, like, oh, the chosen ones. This is a difficult task. It's difficult to be, I swear to God, sometimes it does. It feels like you are swimming underwater through this thickness and you're running out of oxygen. It's intense and it pulls on all parts of you. And that is why you have to work so much on your healing. Like all the stuff I say is how I look at it. Like, it has to do with your past lives. It has to do with coming all together. It has to do with this evolution of self. But you are more evolved than you think. But it's a connection to your more evolved self that pulls you more into evolution in this game, in this lower kind of, like a lower vibration arena or something. So it's like, it's just a huge expansion. I don't know how else to say it. It's a huge expansion, this thing that's happening. It's a huge expansion for the universe. And so it doesn't so much matter about the chosen or whatever. The first people doing it isn't just like easy street. It's hard and it's work. And it is a role. It's a perspective that the universe wants to adhere to observe, to experience. And so it wants all experiences. And so everyone's an experiencer. Even if you feel like your experience has no value, it has great value to the universe. And so those souls that are going through that part, which to me, it had a lot about being rejected as a child, being an outcast, being a weirdo and stuff as a child, and having to work through that in your own state of identity and to stay connected to yourself. That's how it feels like to me. Like that's my journey. And so there can be a lot of different paths leading to the same road. So anyways, it's not just like you have to have this is what you have to do to be chosen or first ones or whatever. But it is like I've been talking about for years. Like even on my awakening, it happened years before other people's, and I started talking about it. Now if people talk about it, like way more people know what the fuck you're talking about. Back then nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about, not at all. And so that was another thing. Like you had to go through this stuff. You could never conform back. You couldn't just go back and join the group and just pretend like nothing. You had to lead. You had to keep going forward. And so, and that took healing. That takes healing to be able to walk in your own destiny, your own pride, and with your head held high and believing yourself, And so, especially when everybody thinks you're crazy. And it's so trippy. Like, it's so trippy when everybody thinks you're crazy, but you can see the truth and they can't see the truth. But that takes healing too, because there's people throughout, I definitely argued with people. I definitely tried to get people to see what I was seeing. Like I played all these things out that I talk about. And so, but I learned, I was open. I wasn't sitting there thinking, something would go down. And then I would be trying to find out from my guides, I would be open to the communication of what is it? What is going on here? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be learning? What am I supposed, And so it was like, to me, being walked through the past few years, like I had guidance. I wasn't just on my own. And so then, so this first group was very self-initiated. It's not just like, oh, the chosen, they woke up first, so they're going. No, I bet you that there was a lot of people who woke up a long while ago and they got lost along the way. It was very much self-driven. You know, I've been saying and saying for years, ever since I very first started talking out about this. This is about awakening. This is about becoming aware of things. This is a consciousness thing. And so, and there's been all these people talking about all these different things, and that always is what gets me to talk, like, in a different perspective about the things that they're talking about. Like, they're saying this, well, let's look at it like this, because there's a lot of different ways to look at it. And then what we have going is like groups of people that jump on board and they all start looking at it the same way. And that's what's cool, is that you see people breaking free from that and starting to think for themselves. It doesn't so much matter how they think or what they think. That's based on their perspective. But the ability is to start looking at it different than other people. It shatters the narrative. And so it opens us up. And don't forget, everything ripples out through our energy. Everything is like this breathing, like our like if you think of the all of us all being the cells of a giant universal body or something, breathing. And so everything is this ripple of us, you know, getting oxygen in and out, and oxygen out is how I was seeing it. But that is, it is like we have a connection like that, all of us. And the more in your awakening, the more awareness you begin to have on your connection to everybody, that everybody is just the same as you. And is where you start having so much more compassion and empathy for what people are going through and their stories. But there's a sense of frustration where you get like upset, like, why aren't they doing this and why aren't they doing that? Because we have an idea of how people should handle things. And so then it is our time to step back and look and watch and allow everybody to get to figure things out for themselves. That's a whole nother step in the evolution of self, because it takes a lot to just step back, especially when you know something that somebody else doesn't know and you want to help. Like, you start trying to understand your own motivation, whatever it is that you're doing. You step back and start trying to understand, why am I doing this? What am I trying to accomplish here? What am I trying to get from this? And it just gives you more awareness of yourself. And sometimes you find yourself not doing what it was you intended to do, because once you start looking at it, you're like, oh, yeah, why? What? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to think that. I don't want to say that. You know, you just walk yourself through it. So, I think I forgot to show my tooth a second ago, but let me finish with this and I will. So anyways, the first group to me is the group that has been pushing. And so another visual I see is like underwater, and like this more warrior group. Like, I see it more like the kings and queens kind of times, like these knights or something. Only it's kind of cartoonish looking, but so they're underwater. Okay, so you have the surface, and then you have all these people under here. And you have this group, though, that's focused on this group over here, the ones that have us flipped. So they're charging forward, and it's like a, you know, like a, oh man, I don't know what these things are, but it's like in a water. I think it's like a thing. It's like a measuring device or something. But so it's like them pushing through, and it's like a gate opening that switches it. Oh, like the water goes to a current and it switches and it flips it. And so this is like, think of the chosen ones, or the first group, is the ones that are pushing through, because they are staying focused on what they believe. They're pushing through that energy, which is flipping it, which is turning it, changing the tide and the ripple that it changes. And see, that changes it from the light to dark. That's the flip. So it's not like the chosen. It is like the warriors that had to stand strong and push through when everybody else wasn't seen. And so when that goes, that's just our first group. I mean, the other groups, they will have, you know, just a significant role in this whole thing. There's all sorts of roles in this. But there's a second group that is going to, it will be the second group of people who heal. There'll be a group that'll be resistant. There's going to be a third group, and it's resistant to a lot of things. Resistant to change, resistant to the changing storylines of the narrative, just out of confusion and stuff. But it has to do with their storyline. It has to do with what they're here to heal. It's not like that they can change it. It's not like you can sit down and go over a math problem and try and get them to understand. No, it's their soul is going to make it, when you start trying to explain something to them, it's just going to sound like wah, 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 wah. So they're not going to understand what the fuck you're talking about, because they have to go through this part, just as we all do. So we all have our parts to play. Like my kids can tell me I'm crazy and say all sorts of stuff to me all day long, and I know it's like I told them before, like I have a part to play. Like this is a part. Like I have to do this. And, you know, and they don't understand that because that hasn't turned on in them yet. That's just been adjusting. But them seeing that and somebody else is going to make them understand when it starts happening to them. Oh, I got this connection to yourself or something, to your soul, to your purpose, to who you really are, not who you're trying to be. And so the first group, you know, they say will rapture out, like I'm saying this whole time, like it doesn't make any sense to me the way a lot of these people say this is going to go down. But the first group of change will be whatever's something that we're close to having happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a solar flash or something, because if it is the solar flash, we still have some things ahead of us, because the thing in the book of 1 about the harvest is that there is a bunch of souls that will leave. And so if which goes along with the rapture idea, but it also, like, this is something that we just have to try and see, like, as it could be that there's going to be a lot of souls that are going to leave over something that's going to be happening here soon, but they are going to be leaving to go back to their home places, or it's just going to be a switch, because it has to do more with the healing thing. It doesn't have to do with what other people are looking at. It has to do with their soul purpose. And so some of them soul purpose is, there's a lot, man. There's a lot, because there's going to be people, there's going to be like a whole group or something, like whole countries or something, that will just be like gone. It'll be like, I don't know, go underwater or go in the ground or something. And really, though, they all went home. They all left and went back, like on their mothership or something, and all went home, even though that they didn't know it. But when their souls all came out, they just all were reunited with their people and went back to wherever it is that they're from, and go to, you know, experience like whatever, because it has to do with their soul and their soul's journey. And so there's going to be a splitting off kind of like who's going to create the age of Aquarius, because it is a creation. It is like we are the seeders. We are the ones who are going to be laying the ground. We're the farmers for the age of Aquarius. And so the ones that are going for that, like, it's all different for everybody. So anyways, the first group that has been pushing so hard for this change and trying to scream from the rooftops about what's going on here, they are going to push through. And it isn't just because, oh, the strong, powerful. This is the part where you can think about Dolores Cannon saying that all these people came. So it's people came for this. This is the part that we came for. And I see that is something that I always felt more about, like that I was a warrior. Even though one time when I saw in the mirror and I looked over, it was after my awakening and stuff, but I was in my bedroom and I was standing there looking in the mirror, I think, and then I have a long, at this house, I had a long mirror next to it. And I turned to look in that one, and there was this like warrior, like it was a guy. To me, it seemed like an angel, but like this warrior was looking back at me. And it was like they were trying to show me who I was. And I was just like, oh, and it just makes sense. Like this stuff doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me. Like, and I don't know, I've just been dealing with the supernatural part of life for my whole life. So it doesn't scare me. I know some people get really freaked out about all this stuff. There's nothing to be scared about. And because that's our real life. Like that's like our real, everything is like our real, and this is like not. So the so anyways, so that group is the group that's pushing, and it's got the universe, the energy. So that's why there's so much, and it's going in all these different directions. And why, like, Donald is playing, he's one of the people pushing. Elon, no matter what side he ends up, he is still somebody who's pushing. Candace, like all these different people. There's tons, is what I'm saying. There's tons all pushing the envelope, pushing things to flip. And so, and it's in all these different businesses too, because even if you were working like in real estate, there'd be somebody who got hired that all of a sudden had a soul, had morals, and they'd be saying certain things, and it would make people start feeling really dirty, really yucky about themselves, really seeing like, oh my God, I've got no integrity. Oh my God, I'm really shady. Like, it's just going to all of a sudden, they're just going to start seeing things. And that's like, it's not somebody who you would be thinking about. And it's going to be happening everywhere. It's going to be happening in stores and offices everywhere. There's going to be this sudden light coming in that people didn't see, that's going to really start making them see things about themselves that they didn't see before. That is this is all, that is the energy that's pushing. So we have all of it. It works together. Like I said, it's like this beautiful fucking woven design or something. And so all these things, like a giant symphony, are all pushing. And so once this energy flips, and see, those of us who are pushing and pushing, we know what the fuck we're doing. And so we're pushing for change. We're trying to flip it. We're trying to get this energy to go the other direction. And so we're intentional. And we have the spiritual motivation of knowing that we're doing the right thing. And that is your connection, but you are working on your connection throughout. And so so that group, and there's all different levels in that group. There's ones towards the front, and there's in the middle. And so that whole group is the energy of change that is pushing. Then we have all the majority behind that don't really know. They're just still trying to, they know all different. Because some are just trying to go out and have fun. Some are trying to figure shit out. Like, they're all just kind of in a state of confusion. And they ask each other. They still aren't so much listening to the crazy people. They ask each other. And they try to make sense of things. But that's the part that is going to throw them. And so, because they're trying to be logical, put it together in this world. But when you go into what our real world is, it's not structured like that. And so that's why as you let go of this one, it feels like you're just free floating. Like, am I going to disappear out here? Like, what's happening? And so it's very uncomfortable. That's why you got to do steps. It's a development. You can't just go from here to there and think that you're going to be okay. I think that's why you have some of these people who are like, feeling like they're going in a mental ward and stuff. Because this does make you feel fucking crazy. Last night there was some fucking person who, well, it wasn't I don't know what the fuck it was. But I was laying there starting to go to sleep, and all of a sudden there was this like, oh, it's so fucking eerie. So fucking eerie. Ugh. It was like this creepy ass fucking voice. It started to, it was like so fucking creepy. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God, it was creepy. There was so many things though where I was going into that world and I had to pop my eyes open so many times. I was like, what in the hell? It was so fucking intense. And so anyways, so there's a group of people who are all pushing. And I don't even know that all the people know what all is on the other side. And so, that's all at different levels. You just got to push through the unknown. And so that's going to flip the whole energy, like I've said. And when it flips, all the people who are pushing, that is going to feel good to them. It's going to be like, fuck, man. I don't have to push anymore. And then it's like people are going to be like, seen, because the light's going to come in this abrupt rush where they're all these people who are out there, what's going on, thinking and stuff, they're going to get their answers. The universe is going to show them, and it's going to throw them, because they're trying to figure it out and not outside the box. They're trying to figure it out inside the dollhouse instead of looking out the windows trying to figure it out. You got to look outside the box. And they want to keep your mind in a box. They want to get your soul and put it in a goddamn box. That's what these motherfuckers want to do. But so, anyways, you got to always be thinking outside the box. Think outside your range of normal narrative of how you normally think or whatever. And so, and it may take books. Go read. There's mysticism books. There's all sorts of stuff. Go read that stuff. Let your brain just open itself, because that is your development. That's why you can't just jump from here to there. And I don't know. A lot of the people just trying to use drugs to connect to the spirituality or something, that part will fall apart. Like these people just going and doing ayahuasca and stuff. So you gotta connect on a different way. And like, I think some of them are going into these other realms and they're communicating with beings that maybe you don't want to be communicating with. Maybe they shouldn't be the ones telling you about the life. So I don't know. It's way better to connect through. To me, I think mostly it would be called meditation, but it's like reflection. It's like just going and just being quiet and just letting your brain think, let it go. And don't, because a lot of times people think, well, I'm thinking, I'm not meditating. That is, when you let your brain just start going, and it goes into like a reflection, and then you got to like look at it. You just start looking at things and trying to understand yourself and stuff. It just gives you more insight. It can be into situations, it can be into your own behavior or whatever. It may take you into a place, start showing you a past life, and it can be anything. You just relax, and it kind of goes into like a dream kind of state or something. It just depends on what it is that they're trying to communicate to you. So anyways, when it flips though, all the people who were pushing so hard, it's going to feel like a huge relief. So that energy that they were pushing, this is the energy where what you're putting out will come back. And so whatever it is that you're putting out is going to flip back on you. And that is where a lot of people don't realize that their nastiness and their hatefulness and their judgmental part of them is going to flip back on them. Like all these people are Christians, anybody who, because in a spiritual awakening, you got all sorts of different things being said, and especially right now, all sorts of things with aliens and stuff. And then you get these people that are so judgmental, like you don't believe in God if you don't worship their Jesus. And so they get all it's not defensive, is very much I guess offensive or something, because they come at you. And so and you can just be talking like I've had them on here even, but on TikTok, that you say something and they come in and start attacking you. So that side of them, they'll see that side of themselves, whatever their self-motivation is, why they feel like justified to go in and tell somebody else, whatever it is. So that's their energy that they're putting out is going to come back on them, because they're going to have to see, they're going to have to experience it, because you can't figure it out without seeing yourself for yourself. So anyways, that's what it was going to be so much about that. But so you're going to have that group. So the first group is going to go and it's going to feel like a relief. And depending on what your energy you've been putting out, it will come back on you. So it will feel good or it will feel bad. We'll see. Like, I mean, we'll see. Like I've got 4 years of pushing this energy. So when it comes back, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. We'll see. That's the whole thing, is just trusting and knowing that I'm doing what they're telling me to do, and I'm trusting and stuff. So anyways, so pushing on the first, then that first group that is pushing so hard for change is going to flip. And I would say any of the people who would be in that group would be the ones who are being called crazy by other people, who, the ones that are talking outside the box, the ones that are trying to take notice of the things going on in the world and stuff, that they are a part of the first group. And it's, I would say, way more than 144,000. It's more like 144 million. And so that group, it will, and due to them being more working on themselves and stuff, they're not going to be hitting into the same obstacles when this stuff flips, because they've already been doing so much of the work. And even the things that they will face, it will be so much more manageable, because they have developed their tools of being able to look at things, to figure things out, to move through things. It's like you've been while other people have been out, dancing at the clubs and throwing back beers, which the alcohol thing has dropped so much. I like bars and stuff, like I've seen waitresses and stuff talking about it. Like there's been a big shift. People, and they were saying they think because everybody's broke. But I'm kind of thinking, I wonder how much of it is because people are just getting more of like, they don't want to just drink. They don't like how they feel. They don't like how they act. And they're just being more self-reflective about alcohol and stuff. So I don't know, but there's a shift. And so, but the people who have been out just, it always brings me back to the Three Little Pigs. So the ones that have just been out, dancing and singing and stuff. And we've been over there putting our houses together with the bricks, getting prepared for whatever comes. Like, anything can happen, people. And everybody's like, okay, crazy person. And then, but, it's like, fuck, anything can happen. It's happening everywhere. So, and like the fucking wind came out of nowhere. And I even went on the weather thing to look. It said like 11 miles an hour. These gusts, you could hear them coming. They fucking get their wind machines out there and they just fucking go to town on us, man. And you could hear the wind coming. And then there was, oh God, it was so noisy yesterday. It was so intense, because it's not just that. You can feel the cars, like everything is vibrating. And then it feels like, is our reality shifting? Like, are we leaving this reality? Like, what the fuck, man? And so anyways, so the group that has been that group, then when things flip, it will feel a lot better to them, because it's going to be a relief. And there will be people like, there will be just like, when everybody all of a sudden sees, it's going to like be a relief. It's going to be like seriously, like we're trying to hold something up without enough help. But then all of a sudden there's going to be all this help. And so then it's going to take all of this off of us. So it's going to feel like, oh my gosh, now everybody's waking up and everybody's starting to see. But it does totally remind me of like that scenario where they're all just out having a good time and we're over here working hard. And then the storm will come in, and then they will feel like they're out in the cold, and we will feel like we are sheltered and safe. And it's going to, on a spiritual feeling, it's going to feel very much like that. So it's not going to feel scary and hard for us when this shift happens, but it's going to be very hard on all these other people. And the second group is the ones that are going to be, I think that they've already been working a lot on their healing. There was so many people that I would talk to, and they had no awareness or way, things sounded so crazy, but they were working on work problems, relationship problems, all these different kinds of parts. And some, they turned it the other way, well, it's all their fault. I'm getting away from every single person in the world. And then others were like, more trying to figure out, but there's going to be no choice over it once it goes down, because this will be the part where they'll see themselves and they'll see like, oh, I've got to heal myself. Like, I could sit here and get mad at everybody in the world and isolate myself, but what good is that going to do me? And so, is that like the way somebody wants to live, in isolation because someone might hurt your feelings, or you want to try and work on not having your feelings be so raw, because it's a lot easier when you stop handing your emotional, your emotional insight, your emotional like observation of self is through somebody else's eyes. And so you got to get a lot more strong in your own self and know. And to me, a part of it is just knowing like you're a little bit good and you're a little bit bad. And so like it's okay. You got to accept yourself just like you got to accept everybody else. And the more that you're going and accepting everybody else for who they are, the more you're going to find acceptance for who you are. And the people who won't accept you, you don't conform and try and become what it is they want you to become. You just stand strong in who you are. You just stay who you are and let them shuffle through their own things that they need to. And it's going to, as this happens, you know, the people who are resistant, it's going to, like, the universe is going to pull the rug out from under them. And the more resistant they are, the harder they're going to fall. And it's going to hurt. I'm telling you, when I fell out of my patterns, it hurt. It hurt. I kept on saying, like, it feels like I've been on this merry-go-round all my life, just going and going and going and going. And then all of a sudden, you know, number 4 comes in and he just pushed me off the ride, and I fell down off the ride, and I was sitting there looking back at it, and it's going, but I wasn't on it. And it was like my knees hurt. Everything just hurt. It was like, yeah, it was the craziest thing, but that's what helped me to start understanding the patterns that I had developed in order to, you know, kind of protect myself in life. And they were very toxic. And there's so much of that. That's where they've got this whole personality disorder development thing. And I saw, I think 3 videos this morning, and my brain was about to pop. So I was like, okay, I gotta just go talk. And one of them though was they're talking about this narcissistic mom. Well, what was it called? It was like the title of it was not the victimization mom, but it was kind of like that. And there was a woman, apparently, I thought he was talking about the girl, because I've seen other people talking about the girl who doesn't let her kids beat her, but she basically lets her kids beat her. And like, she can't get a handle on it. And so there's been a lot of people talking about, this was a different one. This one was, it seemed like this woman who's trying to play this big victim role of feeling sorry for herself. She has adult kids. So it's kind of like, and I know there's tons of people in these scenarios. This is a part of what's going on. And so being rejected by your kids. And so there's all this family breakdown, but it has to do with our healing our own selves and stuff. And so, anyways, whatever has gone on in hers, and she won't admit that anything that she's ever done was wrong or affected them or something. So I guess her kids are trying to not be around her, but she's very pushy into their lives or something. Like, she shows up at things and stuff. And I don't even know what all, but the guy who was talking about it was talking so much about this narcissistic woman. And when he was talking about her narcissism and her not being willing to look at anything through anyone else's perspective, it's all about her, it's all about her. I was hearing it at first through the other woman, through the one about the one who had the little kids who were beating her ass. And I was like, oh, that is like a sense of narcissism or something, of being this victim of like, poor me, my kids are so rotten. My kids are so out of control. Like, to not take any responsibility for what it is. Because she even goes through the whole video, you know, saying, I've tried timeout, I've tried this, I've tried reasoning with them, all these different things. And that's why I said, have you tried the belt? Like, the belt can be effective. One girl, she said, you need to meet their energy. Like, you got to match their energy. You can't just sit there, like, they're going to go crazy on you. You're way bigger. That's one thing, even with the dogs, when they start going crazy, I just jump up. As soon as you jump up, you're magic, man. You all of a sudden got bigger and they're looking at you. That is the same thing with the kids. You got to, even if you're not going to get the belt, you fucking make them think you are. Like, you fucking go fucking crazy. You don't just sit there, honey, stop, stop. You know? Like, what? That is fucking narcissistic. And it's very, you know, oh, look at, they're so bad. No, I'm so victim. Oh, they're so bad. They're so bad. And that's what this woman is doing, apparently, is trying to make, like, you know, I guess her family is mistreating her. And I am getting this in so many different angles. So this is happening to so many different people, and it's playing out in so many different ways. And so, you know, if you're in those situations, I would just say, you know, really look at your own stuff. You got to be willing to look at your own behavior and stuff. You can't sit here and think like it's because it is very much like the victim mentality is so it's so ego driven because it's so attention driven. It's so much, oh, it's all about me. It's all about me. No, it's so much worse for me. And that is even brought out so much in people's personalities with sicknesses and diagnoses and stuff. And even at this point, you know, I mean, so many people have lost their kids. So many people have lost everything they own. Like, there's like true shit that make you feel like a fucking victim, man. And but you got to move through it. You know, it's not a victim comparison, like who's lost more, who's got the bigger, like, why do we want to be the victim? Why do we want everybody to feel sorry for us? That's programming. That's something that we got to break free from. It feels way better to feel better about yourself and feel more confident than to get into that vibration of like, who's got it worse? Well, his life sucks. Oh, we all have it so bad. You know, is to move out of there and take, you know, the things that happen and make them into something better. Is turn things around. And in the case of where you've got like kids not talking to you, to me, it's like, I'm going to give them their space. I'm not going to harass them. I know, you know, and whatever happens, happens. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. And I can, you know, I mean, I've apologized and apologized and apologized for the stuff that I've done, to the point where I was like, you know, I wasn't that odd. I wasn't that wrong. Like, there's tons and tons of people who played the same stuff out. I see people currently, you know, people get split up and they start going out with other people. It just happens. And it is, you know, there is a thing about when you're a single mom and feeling alone and feeling like, you know, you want a partner to do it with. And it is hard and it is scary. There is things. And so a lot of people, you know, and then, you know, some of us, we have kids that are mad at us about it. But then there's other layers to it, because we have exes who are really got mad about it. And there was a lot of, you know, I would say like programming or something, because I can see how I'm looked at. That became really clear to me through my awakening. I started being able to see, but I'm not going to sit there and just blame it on other people, because I played a part in my own role. You know, if I was sitting back being like, oh no, you know, poor me, you know, I was stuck in that victim personality disorder thing just like everybody else was, or all the group that came in to experience that. Like, I was there. I've been there. I pulled myself out of it. But and I did it nevertheless. And that's why I can talk about like the necessity or the development or the better parts of it, when you can pull yourself free from these toxic behaviors that we develop through our own pain and suffering and through our own traumas. And it's not even just traumas from this life, it's traumas from all these other lives. You have to connect to these parts of yourself in such a deep way to get to some of the stuff, because some people just put that off. They think that they're crazy. They're not going to think about that. Like, why would I be thinking about that? That's weird. And so you got to go more into the weirdness. You got to get more into your weird side. And but anyways, so when things start going, it's going to just go just like a wave. And it will be all this, it will be like a tsunami of change, is all of that will start turning, and then this group will be coming right behind, and that will be the turning. And then the more resistant one, they will be down here, but they will have no choice because the tides are turning and everything's going to change. So they're going to have to become, but they're going to be the most resistant, and they're going to have the most difficulty with healing because of the resistance. But once it becomes 3/4 of the people who have changed, because right now it's like a quarter, and then it will become the next bit, the bigger amount to me is the other group, and I would say it's like 2/3 of the people. And then the last group, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if we divided it into a pie, whatever's left. It's a smaller group. It's the smallest out of all the rest of it. That it is, it's like a small group that was pushing. The majority is in the middle, and then you have a smaller group at the end. And the end group is changing all the time. But when things flip, they still have, that's what their part is. That's what their role is. It's the coming from behind. And there is a point to it too, because it's all different perspectives through this situation, through this scenario, through everything that is happening, and what it feels like, what it was like in these different perspectives. So they're all necessary. It's not like anybody is like messing it up by not being up here with us. No, they're doing exactly where they're supposed to be. And that's what the universe depends on. So when we go and we start trying to interfere and tell people, no, you need to be here, you need to be right here with me, and then that is us putting things out, because the universe knows how to do it. It doesn't need us to go in and do it. What it needs you to do is be more tuned into yourself. And so when it motivates you to say something or be somewhere or something, to just be where you're supposed to be and say what you're supposed to say, it's like doing what you're supposed to do instead of trying to fight it. Because there's a lot of people who fight it. They get an impulse to do or say something, and they are like, no fucking way, and they walk away. And that can be something that you would see in the life review, like that person that you walked away from and you didn't say the thing that came into your mind, that they were, they needed that. And then you get to your life review and you see your resistance that you created. And I don't know how much of this stuff is putting things out of balance that you have to put back in balance. I don't know how much of these entanglements that we have with these other souls, like, I know that they're bigger and longer and deeper than what we understand, especially in this life. And but anyways, that is kind of like how the wave of change will happen. It will feel really good for the first people, and then the middle people, they will have the hardest time in the beginning, because it's going to just be so shocking to them and they've been resistant. But the third group, that's the ones that will be, there will still be a group that just seems almost like oblivion or something, kind of like, keep trying to make sense of it, maybe on religion. I think there's going to be a lot of religious people in that group, is what I think, because of religion as being such a handicap to people. It keeps them not so connected to their spirit, and keeps making them trying to connect to this other spirit. And so it's like they're resistant to their own spirit, because connecting to their own spirit seems like a bad thing or something. So they keep trying to connect to this other spirit, which, there's lots of gods out there. We got people who worship celebrities, so there's all sorts of gods out there you can worship. And there's been all sorts of, powerful beings throughout, universal history. We've had plenty of beings that have come here and played these roles as like gods and stuff. So, and I'm sure that there's a lot that are returning for all of this big party that's going down, Who knows? Maybe we're going to meet some of these ones like Poseidon or Zeus or whatever. Maybe they're Anunnaki. I don't know. But that is kind of like what the gods are, is just these other beings and stuff that were more developed than the beings that started worshiping them. And oh, I saw this was like last week or something. This woman, they had property, I think it was in Kansas, and they had property. And so as they're digging stuff up, they keep finding things. And she's got like a whole box of arrowheads. They keep finding all this stuff. So they're very much on land that has a history. And she said there's mounds. I don't think she knows what the mounds are. She thought that they were Indian burial grounds. But the mounds, like if you go back and you look at like newspaper things and stuff, the mounds were when they were going in and digging them up, that's where they were finding all these redheaded giants. And that there was a huge war that happened between the Native America, the tribal people here in the beginning, and these giants, because there was beings always from other places. Always. There was always one settling around here from other places. And so but the red-headed giants were cannibals, and so they would steal the tribe people and eat them and stuff. So there was this war going on, and I guess that the tribe people beat the giants, and that might be why some of the giants went deeper into the forests and stuff and went into caves, because of this massacres that were going on. But so then they made these mass graves. They put all their bodies and made these mass graves that are these mounds. But there's people who were finding these mounds and digging them up, and it was like being in the newspaper. But back, especially then, is when the Smithsonian would be called, and they would come and sweep through and take away all the evidence. They would wipe out the stories and stuff. So they were trying to manipulate the information, so to keep us trapped in their weird little lab world of incubator babies and shit, and then trying to kill all the beings that were out here from other places and for however long they'd been here and stuff. And then there was also the natural born ones here, but still they were also messed with in a lab. So but there's a lot of beings that came from other places that were also settlers and stuff. That's why I said there's like all these different tribes and stuff. So the people, I always do that one. So the people. So anyways, oh yeah, so I said in the thing though that the mounds are giants, don't call the Smithsonian. But I'm so curious, like there will be more of that stuff that will start being found. But her whole thing, and what trips me out, because I was thinking about this morning. So the other day when I said, so on my family now, so we have 2 Mexican grandmas, we have 2 white grandmas, and we have, well, I'm just assuming that the other one is, I mean, she could look at herself as more like Irish or something. I don't know. I think that she just looks at herself as like, when we had all these different parents and grandparents from all these different ones. So like we're just mutts. That's what I used to say when I was a kid to my mom. I used to, because I wanted to understand about our culture and our traditions and stuff, and what is it to be American and all that. And so then I was like, so we're just a bunch of mutts? We're just mutts? And that's basically what we are. But we're also, we come from these incubators and shit, like these labs. So anyways, the different, oh yeah, okay, so then the other grandma, she's from a tribe. So up here because this is what I was thinking about, up out like in North America, so in the northern part, and into Canada, which another big giant burial place just got found, and people are fucking outraged. It's disgusting, especially to the Canadians, because of the the lies that they said that they were helping those people, and then they took their kids, and 2 mass graves now have been uncovered. And it's disgusting. But they're all over the place. This is what these people did. Like, they were trying to wipe out all these other tribes. They were trying to take this place over. It's been a battle for this land for a long time. And so up like in North America, it seems like that's where a lot of the ones that we think of as like Indian tribes of like back in the days of cowboys and Indians. And so people like wear feathers and have teepees and stuff like that. And it seems that they're more in like North America. I think there's some also through the deserts and stuff in Arizona. Like there's lots of tribes and stuff through there. But then once it starts going down more, like when you go into Texas, it's like so much of more Mexican and more Spanish influence. Then you get over to Louisiana, then you even have another one. I think it's if it's French or something. I don't know what the mix is that created the Cajun, but so you have these different kind of things. Then you get over towards Florida or something, and I think then there was like lots and lots of ones that had come from the Caribbean and from over and like over in that area. And so those tribes, it crossed over and were in the southern part. And so you had, you know, like the Caribbean group of tribes in this area. Then you had this other group of people, the Cajun people. Then you had over here in Texas, you had the Spaniards and stuff, and but there is a lot. There is lies or something about the tribes. So because then they took a bunch of tribes and they pushed them into Mexico, and they told them they were Mexican, and they were really like Cherokee, Shawnee, and stuff like that. So you have all of those, but they pushed them in a different direction. And so there's people who are just figuring that out, who were called Mexican, are figuring out, and I don't know if it's through the 23andMe or something, but people are starting to figure out what their real connections are and starting to put things together more. But but so you had these kind of distinct kind of groups, and they weren't all fighting each other. They weren't fighting each other for land or anything. They just were minding their business. It was these other people, the white people, the whatever, because they did it through the missionary, through the church. But I see them all like all these what were those guys called? Because to me, when they would show them in the movies and stuff, it was like the cowboys. But it was like it's like they got these guys like rangers or something to go out and start trouble, go out and start fights with these tribes and try and slaughter them. So it's like they developed this army to do that and said that they were protecting the people, but really they were the ones creating this assault on these other people, like this massacre on these tribes, and then pushing them back and taking land and stuff. So something that they weren't doing to each other, then this other group, the colonizers, I guess we would call them, it came in to do it. But really, those are like these people with all this money. It goes all the way back to the crown and the church. Everything has to do with the crown and the church and their ways of doing it. Just like over now where they want to take us over and they bring in all these instigators. That was the same thing. They brought in all these instigators to go in and take over. And I think they maybe did take them out of prisons and stuff, and said, you know, that they are going to go over to America and be worked as whatever it was. Everything is always through a manipulation and stuff. Like those people some of them could have been thinking that they were doing some good work or something and helping people. But there's always that part where you got to connect to yourself. But what are you doing really? What are you doing really? What, you know, whatever they tell you is one thing, but what are you doing? And so every soul has its own journey. Like some of us were there, some of us you know, played parts in that. Whatever part, you know, that keeps coming up to you, that you see yourself, don't be hard on yourself, because you're getting all the different perspectives. So if you were somebody who came in and was slaughtering, you keep having these dreams of doing it or something, just acknowledge it. Just, you know, be like, oh, okay, now what am I here to do? What am I here to see and understand? Because I can see that, I can understand that part now. What was my motivation? Why was I doing it? And so, you know, just keep trying to look in more mirrors, keep trying to understand yourself more. But anyways, back to this. So my one grandma, who was a tribe person, which up here there's a lot of like Lakota tribe. There's tons and tons of tribes. There's so many fucking tribes. And there's tons up in this area. There's tons up in all the way up through Canada into Alaska. There's so many different tribes, and some of them were extension of other tribes, and you know, kind of like a wolf pack or something. And then the one wolf would leave this pack and go make its a new pack, and this wolf would leave this pack and go make a new pack, because I think that's what the males have to do in the wolf pack. Once there's an alpha, I think once their sons get to be a certain age, that they have to go start a new pack. So there has been that, because everything is micro macro, everything is like a natural representation of itself. So that would naturally occur in different ones. It wouldn't be like the son would fight the dad for power. I mean, in some tribes there probably was that, but it would be more the ones that were trying to live in the nature and stuff in spiritual way. And that was the thing that I thought was so cool, is once the grandma, the tribe grandma, she is spiritual. So I could talk to her about stuff, you know, because that is one thing, is that a lot of people who would be from tribes are spiritual. Like, they are so much more spiritual, and they understand the spiritual side of life and stuff. And that is even, you know, because they were the one that went and did that seance or whatever in that graveyard of that big Catholic church. It was a huge, huge cemetery too. And but the stories that they would have over the reservations and stuff, like, there's so fucking much supernatural shit. So much supernatural shit goes on the reservations. But so when you talk to most of those people, you can talk like about spiritual stuff, and that they totally know what the fuck you're talking about, because it is real. Like, it is real, and these people know it's real. And it's just so weird as how, like, the incubator people don't know it's weird, it's real. They've all been so programmed. You can really see how this programming works. And you can really see why they wanted to wipe out the tribes, because the tribes hold the spirituality. Just like it runs through their veins, the melanin, it runs through them, and their connection and stuff. So, but they've all, you know, they've all been tricked too. They've all been, you know, because there was definitely a splitting in the tribes in the representation of the authorities. And there's definitely a division. Some, you know, want what the white man has to offer, and some want nothing to do with the white man. And I think, you know, that's also where they start being like, well, we'll give you some casinos. And I don't even know what they did, but not every single tribe is on board with the casino thing. And so they all have their own specific stuff. And there's some tribes too that are more going together, like, you know, like the Cherokee Lakota Nation or something like that. And I don't know what, you know, if it's some tribes are getting smaller, so they're merging with other tribes and stuff, because they really have been, the people in charge of this place, or trying to develop this place or whatever, have really been out to wipe all these people out. They've been out to kill them the whole time. They want to create their little weird droid place with little incubator people that are all manageable, have a small amount, and then make us all their little bitches, like we're their little toys. They just move us around without us even, like, we're just mindless. That's the games they play. That is the worry that I have over them stealing consciousness and putting in games and stuff, because that's what they like to play, is, letting us be hurt. Like, that is fun to them. Those red rooms and shit like that's a good time to them. That fucking Bitcoin with the fucking bullshit, like, that's the way that you can pay for this fucking horrible shit. And that people sit there and think, like, I don't even understand this kind of thinking, man. Like, yeah, I'll pay 50 bitters for chop off her fingers. And let's watch that, everybody. Oh, that'll be fun. Like, what the hell? Like, and how many times are you going to watch people scream? Like, I can't even watch fake injuries on the TV. I feel it in my body. I feel the injury in my own body. Like, these people who do that kind of stuff, they're seriously, they don't, it's not even just like something's wrong with them. They're just completely different kind of beings than us. They aren't the same kind of beings. They are this, whatever these people are, these original people. And then whatever people are, like, that try and join in, like, I don't even know what this Marina Abramovich, like, the way she keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. What is she now? Now they're putting her in as some other fucking thing. And I can't even remember. I mean, it's just like, it's the weirdest thing. And it's got to be, it's more about the exposure and stuff to show. But I don't know. I mean, that woman, some of these people, it's like, are these people who just go so deep into try and be a part of this? Or are these people a part of the original family? Like, because people like that, it's like, I don't know. Was she just born and she, she's got this part of her wants to be a witch or whatever. And so she, is like, wants to be a witch for these people. And, or if she is one of them that is had their consciousness put in her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so weird because some of these people are so strange, and I don't know what all ones are linked to the original family, because that's one thing too, is that they have changed their names. Like Tom Hanks supposedly is a Rothschild or a Rockefeller or something. So is Ellen DeGeneres or something. Like, there's a whole bunch of these people that they change their names or something, and then they put them into positions. And I don't even know. I mean, this is stuff that I was hearing like back in 2020. Like, who knows? Like, there's going to be more and more that's going to keep opening up. There's so much lies and stuff, so much stuff that people put out there that's just lies. But that's why so much of it is just like, you just got to, let's just see what happens. Let's see how it plays out. And, and that's all that we can do, really. Right now, the fucking ground is vibrating again. Like, I'm telling you, my fucking, where I is like, God, it is so weird and it's so loud. And there was even yesterday, there was so fucking loud of rumbling in the sky where I thought, is this thunder or something? And I was like, I don't know. I tried to look out the window and it was so overcast and so dark and you couldn't see. And so I was like, fuck, I don't know. It could totally be the military chasing things up there and we just can't see. It was noisy as hell. There was so fucking much going on. I couldn't believe it. And then everything that would drive past the house, it would sound like tanks were going through the streets. And then it's eerie. It's dark. It's cold. Everything looks weird. We didn't go for a walk yesterday. I think there's like one day a month or something that we don't go because the weather's so bad. But now it's like, fuck. And yesterday I didn't want to go because the wind. I was like, fuck, you go out there and the wind is blowing, especially in those gusts, and these trees, not only do these trees come down, but branches and everything else, huge branches come down, and one of those fall on you or fall on, like, it's dangerous to go out and just go walk around. Like, I'm just going to go out and walk around in the wind and these big trees out. It's dangerous. So anyways, we didn't go for a walk yesterday, and it's been more quiet now. Like, I haven't been hearing any wind or anything. So who knows what today's going to bring. The day's the 15th. There's supposed to be some big astrological things today. But then again, there's all these people who talk about astrology who aren't doing it based on where the moon and planet are. They're doing it based on where it should be. So who knows? But anyways, there's supposed to be all these things. There's supposed to be big changes. I mean, we already know that. And we're like right in the last few weeks before 2025. And 2025 is supposed to have a bunch of big changes. And so, I think everything's just going to keep flipping and keep changing. There's going to keep being intense things. And it all depends on what, like the things that feel the most intense to you are supposed to. Like, they're supposed to feel intense. You're supposed to feel them. You're supposed to think it through and heal or develop or whatever it is that thing is happening for you. And so don't ignore it. Don't be like, pay attention to all the things. Don't feel like, well, I'm more healed than that or whatever. If something's bothering you, acknowledge it. That is one thing that is really important, because that is what keeps a lot of people from being true to themselves, is overthinking themselves. And so when you feel something, that's being authentic, that's being real to whatever it is that you're feeling or thinking or something. Not trying to think, well, is that acceptable? Well, I'm going to change it. I don't want to think like that. I don't want, so being more real with yourself so you can see yourself, so you can understand yourself, not trying to shut yourself down and make yourself into acceptable version of yourself, because then once you get to that, then it's like, who are you trying to please? Who is it that wants you to be this way? And so you're trying to shut yourself down to please somebody else so that you feel accepted by a group, a friend, a parent, or whatever. And then that's why the challenges are for you to be able to learn how to stand strong in yourself and believe in yourself, even if nobody else is believing in you. Even if if everybody else thinks you're crazy, but to learn how to trust yourself and to believe in what it is you believe. And let me think, because there was a couple other things that I had wanted to say. Um, the, let me think. Seems like there was another video too. There's so much stuff with the drones and so much stuff with the stuff in the sky. There's so much, more tornadoes wiping places out. There'll be more storms, all the things are going to keep going like that. That's why you got to be prepared for anything to happen, because anything can happen. It's going to happen because we're at this time of everything shifting. And so you have to be, shifting with it. That's why you just got to ride the wave. And I don't know, when you're riding the wave, you got to kind of pay attention, because sometimes you got to jump onto another wave to keep going or something, to stay in the rhythm, or to just keep rolling with the punches or whatever. And so and then we're in this thing of all this endings, and there's gonna keep being endings. And what is it? There's something with the medical or something too. There's going to be so much that's going to keep coming with that, because they're going to keep on releasing all these different things about all that stuff. Everything that we were arguing about in 2020, that's all going to keep being released. That's also going to be a part of where these people are going to see. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Like, makes me almost feel like crying, because like there were so many of us telling people, don't do it, don't do it. And they thought we were so crazy. And they, laughed at us, like, how ridiculous you guys are being. And then they went and did it. And now they're going to find out. So they're part of it. And it's going to hurt. There's going to be so many things going to hurt. And then it goes together, too, with there's a lot of people who are getting sick and having sickness. So that when they find that out, all of a sudden it's going to be like it's going to hit hard. And they're going to see like they made these certain choices and stuff. And that's where they're healing. They got to go through their choices and understand themselves. And And it has to do with so many more things. It's so complex. But anyways, that's what a part of this next wave is going to be. And it's already, they're already releasing so much of that information. And so anyways, and then there will be people who are like, well, how did you see? And I couldn't see it because they are very in their own ego. There's so many people who think that they are so smart. If you think you are so smart, you're holding yourself back. If you think you've got all the answers, you know everything, then you're going to hold yourself back. You're blocking out more information. And so that it can be more of a crippling kind of deterrent to think you're better than, oh, I'm so much smarter than everybody. I'm so smart. I'm smarter than everybody else. Nobody else can. Then you are missing out on all the things because everybody holds a piece of something. Everybody holds knowledge. And so it's way better to be more open to what everybody else is showing so that you can, it's like filling your own pockets with other people's knowledge when you listen to other people. And so, anyways, it can be very helpful to a person if you use the stuff right, if you use it as tools, not use it as judgment and think, well, I'm better than them, at least I'm not that stupid. But if you use like the stuff that they're learning, if you learn from what they're learning, then you're way better off. And let me think. Okay, because the tooth thing, but there seemed like there was something else. There keeps being something is like knocking at the door. Oh, and my foot. God, this is weird. I swear to God, it just goes through one motherfucking thing after another. But one of the times I got up in the middle of the night to do the wood, I stepped down and it felt like I was stepping on glass or something. So I started feeling on the bottom of my foot, and there's like this callus spot. And so I was like, that callus thing had been there for a long time, this like hard spot on the bottom of my foot. And I was thinking this is like scar tissue because I had foot surgery a long time ago. And so I was thinking this has something to do with that. But now I stepped down on it. It feels like there's glass in it. Well, that's why I ended up even having surgery in the beginning. And they said I had a bone spur. And so they had to go in and take this bone spur off. I don't think it's a bone spur. I don't know what the hell it is, but it hurts. And I put some of that DMSO stuff on it last night in the middle of the night to see. I don't know what the fuck. I just can't believe it just goes from one motherfucking thing to the next. So now I've got that to focus on and try and figure out like what the hell. And then of course it's something where you step down and it hurts really bad to step on it because it feels like you're stepping on glass. So, and it just happened in the middle of the night and I don't even fucking know. So I don't know. Maybe there's fucking something in there and my body's rejecting it. No, I don't know. Because now I'm thinking so much about that because I think so much about that is a part of what this black hole is in my tooth. And so let's have a look at that. And so anyways, that is and so I want to take notice of like where the dark is. Notice how it's closing in more, how it's like changing the shape of the darkness. So that would be the thing I would say if you're trying to watch and see that is what I'm noticing. And so we'll just watch how it just, I think it's just going to keep closing up. And there has been days where it's sore, but then when I will feel like it's sore, I'll start thinking about my other teeth and it's like, you know what, all my teeth are kind of sore. And the past couple days is definitely like these weird headaches. My teeth have been sore, and I've been really, really conscientious about not gritting my teeth because of not wanting to put any pressure on that. So I've been really focused or conscientious about stopping myself and keeping my jaw relaxed. But I keep getting these aching in my jaw. And even yesterday, I was chewing something. I kept chewing on this side because I don't want to mess with this side too much. And this side has got the fucking 3 broken teeth. So this side's hard to chew on anyways. But, oh my gosh, my teeth were getting so sore. I was like, what in the hell? There just keeps being so much weird stuff. Like the energy's so weird, the sounds are so weird, how things look are so weird, how you feel is so weird. Just doing this is so weird. I feel like so fucking weird. Like, I feel so weird. I feel, and then plus, I'm just not somebody who, I don't know. I'm definitely a storyteller. Like, I definitely feel like I had friends before. We go out to lunch and I take over the conversation, and they've got things they want to talk about, but I'm just a talker, and I definitely have that as a part of me. Um, but the I don't know. There's just this weird sense of like, God, I just feel like I'm so up my own ass or something. Like, God. But I have to, whatever it is I'm supposed to be talking about, it just feels like it's heavy on my heart or heavy on my mind or something. Like it clogs up my head until I go out and start talking about it. So, and a part of my thing is definitely learning this trust of what you're here to do. And that's why I said that is more of your manifesting, is when you're going towards what you're here to do, not just sitting back and thinking, well, I'm just going to think positive and see myself as a millionaire, see myself as a millionaire. I'm just going to look at that every day until I become a millionaire. Like, I think that part of your life journey could end up being like you sat for how many years trying to get that and all of this other stuff that was happening that you could have been enjoying and having fun and meeting people, but you were so busy just focused on, nope, need to be a millionaire, that you missed out on all of the other stuff the life had to offer. And so I just think that there's holes in this. And then why in the world does it all revolve around money, millions and millions of dollars and stuff? Like, it seems like it would be the smarter thing to manifest. Like, oh, I'd love to have my own desert island. I'd love to have my own community. I'd love to have my own cool house. Just, I don't know. It was just, the worship of money is a huge idol. And then we have such a huge amount of people in society thinking that's the answer to their happiness. It's just a lot of misdirection. And there's just so many people who, put their focus on, especially once they start talking about the manifesting, because that is like the talking point for most of the people who talk about manifesting. It's all about, manifesting yourself $1,000,000, this big fancy mansion. It's all about manifesting yourself into being rich. Like, that's the ultimate goal, just to be a rich person. Just be a rich person, and then you're going to be happy. Well, I guess you probably haven't talked to enough rich people if that's what you believe, because you don't find happiness in just having money. It's just more complications. There's more problems. As a matter of fact, I think that there's a lot of people who don't even know how to trust other people then, because they think everybody's out to get their money. It can become a prison. It can be something that holds you back. So, I don't know. Everybody's got their own lessons. Everybody's here to learn their own stuff. I can just tell you, I don't know. I think it's based on the things that I already came in and learned, because I can see it. I can just understand it so clearly. And then I see people who just keep on going at it. It's like, oh, I guess they're here to learn about it, because I can see clearly, like, you're not going to find your joy and your happiness, your completion in your bank account. Part of the challenge in life even is to find your happiness, your joy, even if you don't have anything. If you have nothing, what do you do with that? Do you just sit and, puddle your own piss and tears and feel sorry for yourself? Or do you make the best of it and go out and start hanging out with the other people who have nothing? Like, form a group and form a group, and then start building up a clubhouse, and then start, it's like, what do you do with what it is when you are going, then you're actually building into something. You're not just wanting something to be handed to you. And so once you start really building into something, building community, then that's where you're going to start finding yourself. You're going to find yourself, maybe as a leader, maybe as a creator, as at some stage of development. But you will, the participation The motivation is the creation of you. And so, just having a fat bank account doesn't really do much. That's going to show you who you are. I mean, there's definitely life lessons, tons. Okay, my stomach's still growling, but that was a half a cookie. I don't think yesterday I growled on a whole cookie. I don't know. I'll have to watch. I'll have to pay better attention. So, but anyways, on the but there's lessons no matter what. Like, uh, if there's 10 zillion people who all think like they're going to become millionaires and they're going to just sit and manifest it all day long. I mean, then there could be some millionaires in there. And then maybe that is what their drive is because they know they're supposed to have this money. But at this time in the world, you've got to really be questioning what it is that you're supposed to be doing with that money, because this is a huge shift, and it's shifting out of the money hoarding situation, out of where people like were hoarding the money, like, I've got this much and I got to hold on to it and stuff. It's much more of this shift, because that shift is learning how to trust the universe. You don't need the money like that. You need to be in alignment with the universe, be in a vibration where things are coming to you. You don't have to sit here and work hard for them. So anyways, it's all about that. It's all about this vibration. It's all about this change. And to me, it is even the riding this vibration, because even though we're, in the underneath and we're pushing, we're still riding this vibration. It's just is more uncomfortable because it isn't in the light. It's heavier. It's harder to push. You feel more isolated. You don't feel like you have people on your team. You're just pushing for what you believe in and what you think is right or wrong. And that is also the part of us that is developing as individuals. And that is also a very important part. So once it shoves and once it pushes through, there'll be more going into groups and stuff. Like there'll be more pairings and groups and stuff. Like the energy will shift, and then things will start going into more into an alignment or something. So anyways, there's a lot going on, and we're still at this big part, whatever it is. If it's a solar flash, if it's spaceships landing, first contact, if it's the collapse of the economy, if it's the government reveal, which there's going to be more of that. I think that there's going to be more of that, a lot of that this week, because they're running out of time. Like, they got to hurry, and they got to show how rotten this one group is and how corrupt they are. And so, but there's also a lot of these people who supposedly have been on this other side who all have these PPP loans too. So I don't know. I don't know what all's going to play out with some of this stuff. There's just, everything is to expose all of the corruption and all of the stuff that is being exposed to us is to help us heal. Because what are you doing here? What's the most important thing is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So anyways, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.